Mark Thiessen, the former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush and a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. And so I don't know what this guy Doc did or didn't do. What I do know is that the White House looked at Ed Henry and said there's no indication of any misconduct by any member of the White House advance team. Now, that's not true. He could have said, there was an indication, we investigated it, we satisfied ourselves that it's not true. Okay. That's not what he said. He repeatedly said no indication. It's once again, how did President Obama say? Not a scintilla when he was talking to O'Reilly? What was it?
Not a smidgen.
Not a smidgen. Once again.
Not a smidgen about
not
it.
a smidgen. Not an indication, Mark.
Yeah, not an indication. Look, on Friday, April 20th, the director of the Secret Service came to the White House counsel's office and told her that there was evidence that his investigators had uncovered that this individual had brought a prostitute to his hotel, specifically the name of the hotel, after midnight on April 4th. And he further told her that he had checked it with agents on the ground who corroborated the story. So that is specific and credible. The next, on Monday...
And just let me jump in, because the allegations, as we know them, according to the Washington Post, which broke this story, is there was a Secret Service agent that claims to have seen this young man with a woman who appeared to be a prostitute on the night in question, and his hotel log at his hotel showed a woman believed to be a prostitute signing in to go visit his room around midnight that night. Now, his name isn't on the log. His lawyer says it's not true. His lawyer says there's no direct proof proving she went into his room, and it may have been a mistaken log. And that may all be true. But you can't say there was no indication of any White House involvement during an election year in which later now we know that the Inspector General, somebody in the agency, came out and said, we were being told to shut this up.
Exactly. And so the director of the Secret Service comes in and presents that information to the White House counsel on Friday. On Monday, the 23rd, 3 days later, Jay Carney comes out and says there have been no specific credible allegations of misconduct by anyone on the White House advance team. That is flat false. There were specific credible allegations, unless you say the director of the Secret Service is not a credible source.
Well, the reason they didn't conclude that this was credible, apparently, is because Mr. Doc denied it.
Yeah.
Okay. But what do they expect him to do? I'm not saying he's guilty. Maybe he did nothing. But that can't be the alpha and omega of the investigation. You've got a hotel log. You've got a Secret Service agent saying he saw it with his own eyes. And we know that there are a bunch of prostitutes going into this hotel and servicing members of the administration because 10 guys got fired for doing that. Mr. Doc says it's not true, so that's the end of it?
No, that's exactly right. And the allegations were presented to the White House on Friday. By Monday, Jay Carney was dismissing them. So they did a thorough investigation in 3 days over the weekend and cleared this guy thoroughly in an international investigation. It's absurd.
Tell us the truth. What happened here, in your view?
In my view, there's a culture of deception at the White House. I mean, this is just par for the course. If you think about it, think about the things that they have told us in recent years. They have told us that no one in the White House edited the Benghazi talking points. No one in America is going to lose their health plan. Not a smidgen of corruption at the White House, and now no specific credible allegations. Every one of those statements was knowingly untrue. Now, one time, maybe that's a mistake. Twice, that's troubling. 3, 4, 5 statements like that is a pattern. There is a culture in the White House that encourages and condones deception of the American people when they think that the president is in danger.
Must everything be political? Must everything be political? I mean, they fire 10 Secret Service agents, but this guy gets a promotion. He's the son of a Democratic donor, and then they don't even have the decency to be straight with us about what the allegations were and what they did to investigate them and why they concluded this was nothing.
And what they're doing in the long run, Megyn, is they're harming the president. And the president is harming himself because he's participated in all these things. Because what happens is, look, the Obama administration is in free fall right now. And its approval ratings are plummeting. And part of the problem is that people don't trust the president. If you're the president of the United States and you want to convince people about your policies to listen to you, they have to first believe that you're telling the truth. Fox News poll earlier this year showed that 84% of Americans believe that the president lies at least from time to time on important matters. 84% of the American people think the president lies about important matters. How are you going to set your administration straight? So when something like this comes up, it's just one more piece of information that people put in their pocket and say, this guy is not honest.
There'll be much more on this in the coming days. Mark, thank you.
Thanks, Megyn.